Right, viewers of Equinoxe Television, thank you so much for being with us on this edition of the news. This evening we begin right away with our major stories. Cameroonians today observe a prolongation of the Christmas feast with a holiday. Today in this newscast we will be telling you more on how the feast of Christmas went on in the city of Douala. Some persons were attacked by armed robbers, especially at night in the economic capital Douala, while some other people suffered from food poisoning. And also in this newscast, on a rather sad note, we tell you that Cameroonian Makossa icon Bamenda is no more. He was reportedly found dead in his apartment today in Paris, France. Details in just a moment. Welcome back, viewers. We begin this edition of the news on a rather sad note. We just told you in the headlines that Cameroonian Makossa icon Bamenda is no more. Bamenda reportedly was found dead in his apartment in Paris, France today, December 26. Bamenda thrilled Makossa lovers in Cameroon and also in Africa, why not the world, in the late 80s and early 90s with one of his hit songs, Bona Dibong. His demise comes about a week after that of other Makossa icons like Ekambi Briang and Jenny Gento. Our sincere condolences to the biological as well as the professional family and fans of the icon Bamenda. An artist never dies because his works live on. We will surely come back to that in details that would be in subsequent editions of the news. And now we also told you in the headlines that Cameroonians continue resting today after celebrating the feast of Christmas that was on December 25 yesterday. Today is a public holiday which Cameroonians continue to enjoy. It wasn't without excesses, especially in the economic capital, Douala. We are talking about the feast of Christmas. Some persons in Douala were attacked by armed robbers while others suffered from food poisoning. Our reporter Immaculate Fogui tells us more.
It's our celebration of the Feast of Nativity in the city of Douala. While some persons were celebrating with family and friends, others were rather being admitted in hospitals for one reason or the other. Some persons saw their celebration cut short after being involved in ghastly road accidents. 6 persons brought to the Deido District Hospital are victims of accidents. Some were on motorcycles, while others, while crossing the road, got knocked by either a motorcycle or a vehicle. While some persons were victims of accidents, others are victims of attacks by men of the underworld. Many of them saw their mobile phones, money and other valuable items seized, with others getting injured. Among the cases brought here were 4 victims of aggressions. Many of them got injured during the attack. Some got stabbed while others got shot. Other cases brought to the Deido hospital were that of intoxication. The 3 victims on drips are suffering from food poisoning. You know, it is the festive season and a lot of people tend to eat whatever without even thinking of the negative consequences. We need to be careful. We admitted them as suspected cholera cases. We have discharged 2 of them today because we noticed they are now stable. During our tour in some hospitals and police stations in Douala, we were informed that the number of accidents, attacks and intoxication cases recorded this year have drastically dropped.
And now, as we move gradually into the year 2023, we're expecting to have a better year security-wise. In 2022, the country suffered a number of security crises or lapses, which led to the loss of several lives. A reporter for me, Armstrong Sander, tells us that it began from burnings, kidnappings, and also the year was a very difficult one security-wise. Let's now have a rundown of the security situation in Cameroon by for me, Armstrong Sander.
The year 2022 was extremely difficult in most parts of Cameroon. In the Boko Haram-stricken Far North region, inhabitants of Toro marched to the regional governor's office on May 7, 2022, protesting the killing of over 100 persons by Boko Haram in their area between January and May 2022. They say Boko Haram has chased them out of their town and villages, leaving them helpless. Like Turu, inhabitants of Tuburu in the Mayore division of the North region stormed the divisional officer's office requesting security reinforcement to tackle heightened kidnappings in their subdivision. That was on May the 6th, 2022. From the northern regions, the west region of Cameroon had a tough turn in 2022. On May 7, 2022, the extended security post of Njitapon in Kuptamo subdivision, Nun division, came under a heavy attack from suspected separatist fighters operating in the neighboring northwest region. Visiting the site, West Regional Governor Awa Fonka Augustine said the attackers left 5 security officials dead and 4 others severely wounded. The governor said the attackers used rocket launchers to destroy the security unit. Few days later, the West region suffered another attack, this time around in Babaju subdivision, Bambutus division, where 3 security officials were touched, according to the governor. The West region then suffered another attack on July 1st, 2022 in Pia village, Menua division. Lucas say heavily armed men believed to be armed separatist fighters crossed over from the Libialem in the neighboring southwest region to loot, destroy and kill in their village. In the conflict-hit southwest region, 6 persons got killed by armed men on Tuesday, September the 6th, 2022. The persons were attacked on board an inter-urban transport bus at Mile 29 in Muyoka subdivision on the Kumba-Buya highway. In the same region, armed men believed to be separatist fighters attacked and burnt the St. Mary Catholic Church in Chang village, Manfe subdivision of the Manyu division. The attackers took along church officials comprising Christians, priests and some reverend sisters. A few days later, armed men in a similar manner attacked and emptied a financial institution in the town of Manfi. In the central region of the country, 2022 was marked by the explosion of improvised explosive devices. The city of Yaoundé recorded at least 3 from the Etodi market to the Chinga neighborhood, creating a wave of panic. The economic capital city, Douala of the littoral region, took the last month of the year with the unusual phenomenon of the microbe, a gang of armed young men who made sporadic appearances in several parts of the city and created panic by terrorizing city dwellers.
Still talking about security or insecurity, we take you now to the Northwest Regional Headquarters of Bamenda, where security forces there as well celebrated the feast of Christmas. That was yesterday, December 25. Our reporter Ambu Stella tells us how Christmas was spent at the Northwest Gendarmerie Legion Headquarters in Bamenda.
Music and prayer, joy and reflection from this chapel situated at the premises of the headquarters of the Northwest Gendarmerie Legion. The message on Christmas, a day Christians believe Jesus was born, was brought to the soldiers by the Archbishop Emeritus of Yaoundé, His Grace Victor Tonyebakot, who was in Bamenda on the invitation of the Archbishop of Bamenda.
We are celebrating a very great event, an example of love. May the Lord give us the possibility to pray and to welcome this event as the son and the girl and the daughters of God in this day. May the Lord dwell in our world as the Creator and our Redemptor.
The Mass at the Gendarmerie base is the first of its kind. It comes at a time the soldiers have spent long periods away from their families, fighting to keep the territorial space of Cameroon under threats for the past 6 years. As the socio-political and security crisis enters its 7th year, Christians say this Christmas is a sign of renewed hope.
I think it is just a sign of new hope, a sign of things we may be going as well as possible as the New Year is coming.
The armed conflict has so far caused the loss of life and livelihoods. Less than a week to the start of a new year, everyone is feasting amid hopes for a return to peace in the regions in conflict.
Hopefully, Stella, Christ's coming comes with peace in the northwest and the southwest regions. And now we talk something else. The National Syndicates for Driving Schools in Cameroon have condemned the proliferation of illegal driving schools across the national territory. They say it is one of the major causes of road accidents across major roads in Cameroon. Mala Glory tells us more.
They operate in private homes, institutions, and according to reports, these illegal driving schools present candidates for examination through legal schools. The proliferation of irregular driving schools in major cities in Cameroon is a disturbing situation that has brought together members of the sector in a meeting to brainstorm on possible solutions. According to statistics, 65% of instructors in most driving schools in Cameroon are not qualified. That is why experts of the sector have decided to come together today respecting the program put in place by the Minister of Transport. A situation which calls for immediate intervention. This is due to the poor training and irregularities in this sector, which is the main factor of uncountable accidents in the country. Studies have proven that for a quality driving program to be completed, it should be 20 hours theoretical lessons and 40 hours practical, with a fees of at least 250,000 francs. It was an opportunity for actors in the domain during the meeting to expose some bad practices. There exist fake documents, that is, there are administrators amongst us who give their passwords to others so candidates can be registered and through which they now get fake driving lessons. We say no to that. Meantime, the National Syndicate for Driving Schools in Cameroon is determined to limit the increasing number of these illegal schools, as well as the increasing number of accidents on the road.
And now we take you out of our national frontiers in South Africa, where at least 15 persons reportedly died following an explosion which happened in Johannesburg. That incident actually disrupted Christmas festivities in that town. And also in the US, where heavy winds also disrupted Christmas festivities, especially in New York. In Rome, the Holy Father Pope Francis sends out a message of peace to the world. Let's now have our foreign page roundup with Lucille Yengo Isie.
Sad Christmas Eve in South Africa as a tanker truck exploded near Johannesburg, which led to the death of about 15 persons. Spokesperson for the local emergency services says the truck was carrying gas when it got stuck under a low-lying bridge in the town of Boksburg. A firebomb from the explosion, according to sources, damaged the Tambo Memorial Hospital, which is located about 100 meters away. 37 people were injured, including 24 patients and 13 staff members who were in the hospital's accident and emergency ward. According to the health minister, the blast has severely damaged the hospital's accident, emergency unit and X-ray department. Firefighters were called to extinguish the flames. Unfortunately, the tanker exploded. While in the United States, wild winter storm disrupts Christmas. Heavy snows, flooding, life-threatening cold created havoc for those traveling over for Christmas holiday. The storm that arrived earlier in the week littered highways with piles of cars in deadly accidents. Sources say this also led to blackouts which affected more than 1 million homes and businesses. Millions of Americans who were to travel ahead of Christmas failed to, as more than 5,700 flights within or out of United States were cancelled on Friday. Pope Francis, during his message in Rome, has pleaded for an immediate end to the fighting in Ukraine, a 10-month-old conflict he decried as senseless. Tens of thousands of tourists, pilgrims and residents of Rome crowded into St. Peter's Square to listen to the pontiff and to receive his blessings. Pope Francis also spoke on the long-running conflict in the Middle East, including the Holy Land, wherein in recent months violence and confrontations have increased, bringing death. He also lamented that on Christmas the path of peace is blocked by social forces that include attachment to power and money, pride, hypocrisy, falsehood. The Pope urged the faithfuls to remember the millions of Ukrainians who were without electricity because of Russian attacks on energy infrastructures, as well as the millions living as refugees abroad or displaced.
And now in sports, players of the women's top flight league will go back to their normal 50,000 francs pay package when the league resumes. That announcement was made by the scribe of the Cameroon Football Federation in a press release, as sportsman Smart Jikan completes the story.
It was an information that dropped like a bombshell into the ears of proprietors and proprietresses of teams playing in the Cameroon Female First Division Championship, dubbed the Guinea Super League. It was last August 8, 2022 that the Emergency Committee of the Cameroon Football Federation met to decide that the players of the Female First Division Championship will back home the sum of 100,000 francs CFA instead of the normal 50,000 francs CFA they received before. The FA during that session made it clear that they will pay 50% of the money while the sponsors of the league will complete it. This decision, that was very well received by the players and club presidents, went into effectiveness last football season, with players of the women's league backing the sum of 100,000 francs CFA after the officials received 3 installments for their payments. Unfortunately, the media release that was signed by the Secretary General of the Cameroon Football Federation, FECAFOOT, Blaise Njungnang, dated December 23, 2022, stating that the salaries of these players will be reduced to 50,000 francs CFA when the Women's League resumes, has kept every female football stakeholder confused, owing to the fact that no reason was forwarded by FECAFOOT for the return to the 50,000 francs pay package. In our attempts to get the reaction from some coaches of the Douala-based female football teams, all said they can't comment about the changes since to them it was a delicate matter. With the pay package reduced to 50,000 francs CFA, many are now asking the question how the players will manage this amount they will be receiving, owing to the high cost of living experienced in Cameroon with no hopes in the horizon. The FA's decision did not also specify how regularly the players will receive this 50,000 francs CFA payment, whether it is on game-by-game basis. Some analysts believe that the changes in the salary might be linked to the problems faced by the sponsors of the Women's Football League in the country.
And so that does it for this edition of the news, viewers. Thank you so much for always according us your time every 6 p.m. Stay with us on Equinoxe Television. The news in the French language comes up at 8 p.m.
Equinoxe Télévision, au-delà de l'image, nous rendons compte.
If you suspect you may have a coronavirus infection,